right, everyone. This is the March 26, 2025 meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission. It's being operated as a hybrid format under Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. The public can join the meeting, hopefully, remotely by dialing 408-650-3123 and then entering access code 942-845-549. You can join via computer at global.go-to-meeting.com/join/942-845-549. So supporting materials for tonight's meeting have been provided to the commissioners. They're also available on our website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. My name is Michael Garland. I'm chairman of the commission. So before we start, let me just do a roll call of persons participating in tonight's meeting. So when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Megan Langley.
Here.
Ricky Arizmi.
Here.
Mark Sklama.
Here.
Tom Fallon.
Here.
Okay. There's no one in the audience right now, so I don't know if we will have people.
Hey, I'm here too.
Oh, and Michelle. Sorry, are you there, Michelle?
Yeah, what
Okay.
the heck?
Excellent. Sorry. No, don't be offended, okay? All right. In any event, this meeting is also being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. I don't know if we will have any remote participation this evening, so let me start off the meeting by calling the first matter. 7 p.m. public hearing. It's an enforcement order for property at 707 Oxford Street South. My understanding is that the gentleman representing the property owner is currently in the parking lot here, dealing with business in the town of Charlton. Who's JB?
That would be, that's somebody remotely participating,
Okay.
probably for 47 and 49, which got continued.
All right.
Put it on the agenda. If you wanna let-
Well, is it Jody Balkus?
Jody Balkus, yes.
Ms. Balkus, can you just tell us why you are waiting online for us? Hello? Okay. Ms. Balkus, if you can hear us, can you just respond in the affirmative, please? All right. Well. So, it's our understanding Mr. Du Bois is actually in the parking lot?
Yes.
Okay, well, he should be here. All right, we'll hold this matter. We have our next public hearing at 7:05, which is actually in 1 minute. So he will be deferred until the end of that hearing. Yep. Mr. Goodman, is Mr. Du Bois coming today?
I believe he is, yes. He's only 7:15.
Well, we didn't tell him 7:15. We said 7 o'clock.
Yeah, he told
And
me.
we
he was
advanced
in-
this at
Hello?
his request. Hello?
Hi, I'm waiting in the. This is Steve Fusco. I'm on the go to meeting, but I'm not in, so I'm calling in.
Okay, Mr. Busco, for what filing are you here for?
319 Washington Street.
Okay, well, it being 7:05 now, the next matter for a public hearing is Triton Storage LLC request for determination of applicability for 2 self-storage buildings at 319 Washington Street. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, it's a vote. Mr. Busco, so tell us about your application, please.
So it's self-storage facility. There's 2 buildings. They're off to the. I get confused with the plans. They're on the southeastern portions of the site. All of the all of the development and construction and everything will be outside of the 100-foot buffer. There'll be no grading taking place, no clearing, and we are making sure that the storm flow, the water flow patterns don't change, and anything that was getting to the wetlands from upland will be still getting there, and it will also be treated for water quality per our stormwater management report.
Okay. Thank you. Megan.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I haven't had a chance to go out to the site. I did look at it on Google Maps yesterday. What we normally do, Mr. Busco, is we like to take a view and like to walk the site. Would your client have any objection to continuing this matter to our next meeting, which is April 9th?
I think we'd like to get it go. We were supposed to be heard at the last meeting, and then we were pushed to this one.
Pushed by whom? Not by us.
By the town. There wasn't a proper posting, apparently.
All right,
Upstairs.
okay.
So we had gotten everything in to be in the last meeting, all the certified mail and all that.
Uh-huh.
We are out of the wetland buffer. We're pretty careful about making sure not to disturb anything, and
Right.
the contractor who is out there is aware and been doing everything they can to make sure that everything, stays out of that area. Of course. I was hoping that there would be potential someone could have gone out before this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Being that it was supposed to be at the last one.
Yes, sir, I understand. Well, sir, I don't believe anyone has had an opportunity to go out there. As you know, we're a volunteer.
Okay.
So I'm just suggesting to you that, and I'm not saying, sir, that anything you are representing is not true, but we like to have eyes on this and just take a quick look. So that's why we would request to continue this to our meeting on April 9th, so we can go out there and just verify what you represented to us.
Okay. Yeah. I'm actually going to be out there tomorrow. Do you guys go during the week, or is it always like on the weekends because it's volunteer?
We normally do it on weekends, mostly Saturdays, sometime on Sundays. But I think, again,
Okay.
Given what you're proposing, I don't think you have to make a special trip for us.
Okay. Now I was going out anyway just to talk with the contractor, just to
Okay.
make sure that everything's good, and just typical kind of stuff they deal with. Do you need them to be there
No,
on a Saturday? Because they can if you need them to.
I don't believe so. I think we can go out there, we can look at, just compare your plan to the site conditions, and I think we will have a good idea of what to do with respect to your request.
Let me ask a question.
Okay.
We have a question from Ms. Langley. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm reading this smaller print map. It's a little hard for me to see. I'm looking at what looks like to be the limit of disturbance line. Is that the limit of disturbance line that is basically 100 foot from the wetland edge? Is that line, is the limit of disturbance the same as the wetland buffer line on the map? It's just hard for me to see.
Yeah, I think there might have been, depending on which plan you're looking at, because the limit of disturbance is on multiple drawings. Sometimes the drafter looks like they cut off the radius, but on the erosion sediment control plan, and we were very explicit with the contractor, it is outside, I think it's 3 feet off the buffer line, is where I believe they set up their silt fence, and nothing is going to occur within the buffer.
Okay, we're looking at the bigger plan.
Okay.
That's the limit of disturbance, okay. And then the silt fence outside of that.
Basically.
Okay, I thought that this was the 100-foot buffer, sorry.
I can see that. I drive by the
Yeah,
second one.
that's, yeah,
That was
silk
the
fence and
100
maybe.
No.
I guess, wait,
Yeah, I drive this way every day.
limit of disturbance, okay. All right, so that one's closer in.
Yeah, the silt fence is the limited disturbance, and the silt fence is outside, is going to be the offset from the buffer. So again, you know, when you guys go out there and look, that's what you'll see is that it's out there. There's no grading or any work that's going to be occurring inside that buffer zone.
It's just the way it looks on the map, it looks like if the silt fence line, which is more curved, if that's the 100-foot wetland buffer line, then the way it is on the map, the limit of disturbance is inside, is closer to the wetland than the buffer line. So that may not be what the intention was, but that's the way it looks to me. I don't know, am I crazy?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think you're right. Like I said, I think in drafting, whoever drafted that did it in that they just used straight lines instead of being curved. But those silt fences, the LOD. If you want, that's the condition that's out there. So if you want, if we're going to be doing this on the 9th, I can update the drawings to show what
I think
is actually happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Busco, we do have your permission to continue this matter to April 9th?
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, if we could submit a revised drawing, that would, I think, eliminate any confusion.
Sure. Yeah, that's no problem.
All right, well, thank you, sir. I apologize for the delay, but I think, we'll check it out, and we will be able to render a decision promptly on April 9th.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot, and I'll send you the drawings tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Bye.
You too, thank you. So is there a motion to continue the public hearing for train storage to April 9th?
So,
Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, it's about, Tom, what time?
7:05.
All right, very good. All right, and I think Mr. Du Bois is here, so why don't we go back to 707 Oxford Street? Is there a motion open?
so moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Mr. Du
Aye.
Good evening.
Aye.
Thanks for pulling out a schedule. I was in
Sure.
another call in the parking lot.
No worries, it's all right. So, Mr. Du Bois, I think you represented Mr. Johnson when he appeared before the commission back in 2019, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and, but my understanding, and correct me if I'm mistaken, is that he then sold the property without doing any of the construction work, is that right?
Correct.
Okay,
Other than what was septic in the well that was already.
okay, but no foundation?
Correct.
Okay. So if I understand this correctly, Mr. Goodman, or I should say his company, then proceeded to construct the foundation without getting approved from the commission first. Is that right?
That is where I feel as though it may be incorrect.
Why is that, sir?
There was an order of conditions recorded.
Yeah, back in 2019, sir.
Yes,
And this is a new buyer or a new owner of the property, right?
correct.
And so there was no extension ever requested for the order of conditions to be continued, right?
there was no need at the time to have it extended. It was still valid.
Well, all right. I take exception to, and you sent a letter to us on March 4th saying that we had previously granted a waiver for this location. Well, sir, I pulled the order of conditions that we issued to Mr. Johnson back in 2019, and I looked at our special conditions sheet, and we did not give Mr. Johnson a waiver for the 25-foot no-build zone. So when you say that we had previously granted a waiver, I'd like to know what waiver you're talking about, because if there was a waiver granted, it was not by our commission.
Is the waiver, are you talking about the letter I submitted with the previous NOI?
No, sir, I'm talking about the March 4th, 2025 letter.
Okay.
In which you said a waiver was previously granted for this location as other areas of the site would have more of an impact to the 25-foot offset. And my understanding, sir, is that as part of this notice of request, you're requesting a waiver because part of the foundation that was constructed is within the 25-foot no-build zone, correct?
Correct, yep.
So you've appeared before our commission before. In fact, you appeared before our commission with Mr. Johnson. And you know that there has to be an alternatives analysis that has to be provided in order for us to consider granting a waiver of the 25-foot no-build zone. You know that, right?
I do know that now, yes.
Okay, well, it's been part of our special conditions for many years, many years.
So do you want me to back up and go through some history of this, or?
Sir, I don't think it's necessary.
I feel it's very necessary,
Why is that?
because I was not clear as of what was going on with this myself.
Okay,
So I thankfully went on YouTube to watch all the previous meetings that had occurred for this project.
right.
And I have a whole bunch of notes of what happened. And to summarize, at the final discussion the board had when they finally approved the order of conditions on May 8th of 2019, during the discussion of the approval, after everybody leaves, Tom was going through the conditions and what to put in the conditions.
Okay,
And I can give you minute marks if you'd like as well. Specifically, when you got to number 14, talking about the waiver request, he was asking, do we need this number, do we need this number? When he got to 14, he said, I think we need a waiver. And you actually yourself, that at a certain minute mark of 1 hour, 7 minutes and 43 seconds, you said, oh no, he doesn't need a waiver anymore because he shrunk the house down so it's no longer within 25 feet.
and what was built on the site is within the 25 feet.
But what's built on the site is exactly what is on the plan that you also mentioned. What is the plan date? And I said it is October 22nd of 18, revised 124 of 19, which is this plan.
Sir, I'm going to stop you right there.
Yep.
If that plan, as far as I know, does not show any work being done within the 25-foot no-build zone.
It absolutely does. It gives dimensions to the house.
Well, sir, the recorded order of conditions, number 14 is not circle number 1. Secondly, there was never an alternatives analysis provided, as far as I remember, by you or by anyone else, justifying the construction or part of the construction of that foundation within the 25-foot no-build zone. So I have not had the opportunity to look at the meetings.
I would suggest that
well-
you and the board look at the meetings.
I will, and I'm not certain that that Mr. Goodman can piggyback onto the order of conditions that we issued back in 2019. And I'm aware of the regulations, sir, and the extensions that were granted by the legislature because of COVID. I understand that. But I am not convinced that we granted that exception. In fact, I'm confident we did not grant that exception to Mr. Johnson back in 2019. In fact, I think, if my memory serves, I think there was even some question about whether or not Mr. Johnson was going to actually try to build a house on that site.
That
And
was all, that was the entire topic of every meeting.
And obviously he didn't.
He didn't have to build it. Why would he have to build it?
I'm saying to you, sir, that he submitted a plan. He submitted a plan that showed a foundation. It was in his intention to build. For what? Excuse me, Mr. Johnson's intention. He submitted a plan that showed a building on the property, right? That's why he filed.
He never had intention to build it himself. He always had intention to sell it. That was discussed at every meeting, and that was why the board was so skeptical on granting an order of conditions was because they were afraid that another builder was going to come in and build something that was not on the plan. And another condition of the order, which is in there, was to actually attach the plan to the order of conditions, which is this plan. So if the commission, and I apologize for back in 2019, that was the first time I had ever requested a waiver. The board, and again, in the meetings, you're going to see that I mentioned multiple times that we need a relief to the 25 feet. The board never asked me to give them any additional, paperwork or any alternative analysis. If they did, I absolutely would have. And I,
So it seems like you're asking for it now.
we are asking for it now. I was under the impression that it was approved because the order of conditions was granted.
Without the waiver being granted for
Yeah,
the
but-
25 foot.
Yeah, but how would I know that? I wasn't here when you guys made the motion.
I've got the order right here, it's not circled. Okay, we go by the document that's recorded. So look, I'm not trying to pick a fight with you.
No, I'm not either. I feel as though there's a flaw in kind of the order. And
Really? Okay.
I do.
So, well, first of all, I haven't had the benefit of hindsight that you apparently have by looking at the meeting
Mhm.
video. I stand by the decision that we did not grant a waiver back in 2019. Obviously, I have a memory of this because I thought, and actually still think that the site is frankly too small to sustain a building. I was there this afternoon. I think the foundation that was constructed is, it's an extremely narrow foundation. The other problem I have with the way it was constructed is that and perhaps you can enlighten me why the building or the foundation wasn't set back further from the pond there. There's some distance between the retaining wall adjacent to Oxford Street and where the foundation was constructed. And I haven't measured it, I don't know. I did take pictures, but it looks like there was a good, 20 feet, maybe even more.
Yeah.
And so can you explain to me why the foundation was constructed where it was constructed?
Sure, multiple reasons.
Tell me.
The leach field is in that area, and the house it's constructed within a foot or so of the setback line, the zoning setback line, which was also discussed about meetings over and over again, that we are pretty much in the only location that a house would fit on this property due to zoning setbacks.
Okay.
So again, I'm not trying to pick a fight either. I just, these order conditions, it says, yeah, it's not circled, but it talks about the waiver. It says it right in the order conditions. There's no circle around the number, but
Can I speak through the chair?
Please.
So on page 9 of the order of conditions, it spells out what the special conditions were, and it's showing 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 9, and 11 with an attached sheet, which is the sheet you're referring to. It doesn't have 14, and it also has addition to special condition number 5. The applicant will notify the Conservation Commission once the erosion control measures have been installed and schedule an inspection.
Yeah, and so obviously that was never done. So what I'm saying to you is that if we set aside what you claim were the discussions on the videos, the order is consistent in that it does not, on page 9, it doesn't show number 14 as being circled, and then the actual sheet of special conditions does not show that it was circled as well. And so I think, out of fairness to everyone, and at that time, Jesus, we're talking, almost 6 years ago.
So can I talk a little bit about how we got to this point with refiling a notice of intent?
I'm not ready to have that discussion yet.
Okay.
I'm trying to determine who was on the commission back at that time. And Tom, I don't think you were at that time, were you?
He was.
2019, yeah.
So I think if it would have been Mr. Fallon and myself, and I think everyone else is no longer in the commission, so it's the two of us.
Michael, I was.
Okay. Well, Michelle, can you chime in? You have a memory of us talking about granting a waiver for this project?
I remember that Mr. Dubois said to me when I said, I don't think that we should grant this because what happens in the future, he assured me that you were going to come back before the board and get that waiver for the building of a new property. Was that in the notes?
Can I reply?
Sure,
Through the
Yeah.
chair?
please.
So I don't know that that's 100% true with how you're wording it. What I mentioned was that if this plan changes and a new builder wants to do something different, then yes, absolutely, he has to come back in front of you. The order of conditions also states that the property has to be built according to this plan that is shown. So, you know, it was built according to this. You know, we have another plan that's an as-built that shows that the house is in this spot, and it's the same dimension, 20 by 60. So, you know, I feel that the concerns the board had of, you know, a different builder coming in and building a different house in a different location is exactly what did not happen. That the house did get built in the exact spot and the exact dimension. So I really feel like, you know, did he have the waiver? Apparently not. But again, if I was at the table or I was in the room when the board or the commission goes through their special conditions, which is the way that it's done in most towns, I would have said, oh no, we do still need the waiver. But, you know, this board, for whatever reason, closes the hearings, and then at the end of the night, they make all their conditions and issue the orders. You know,
My memory is that this, when Mr. Johnson submitted this, or you submitted it on his behalf, how many hearings do we have? 2 or 3? Or more?
There was multiple hearings. I first came to you September 12th, 2018 with an old plan.
Okay,
It was a very old, outdated plan,
Mhm.
which I knew the commission would want a new one. But Mr. Johnson was trying to not have to pay for a new plan.
of course.
So we had the Ecotech go out, reflag, he delineated the flags, he surveyed the property, we come up with this site plan. The original plan had a 24 by 60 house on it. We were back in front of the commission on January 9th of 2019. All that pretty much happened at that meeting was a site walk was scheduled for January 12th of 2019. 2 weeks later, January 23rd, Mr. Garland, you were not present. Tom, you were the chair of the meeting. The applicant did request that a waiver was going to be required at the 22-minute, 30-second mark. The house footprint also was changed to this plan, the 20 by 60 instead of 24 by 60. The public hearing was closed. Everybody, you know, left the room other than the commission. Discussion at the end, the board had very large concern of the builder, you know, getting this plan and not building what was on here. So they did not want to issue an order of conditions. But I don't know, I forget the exact reason why, but they tabled it to the following meeting, February 13th. At the end of that meeting, again, it was discussed. There was still concerns over, you know, not having the correct house be built. The commission requested, they voted to deny the notice of intent, and they requested the applicant, which I have a letter, to submit a plan that just showed nothing, which didn't really make a lot of sense. So on April 10th, I came to the commission, requested to just, you know, discuss, you know, what the next step was. And we requested the board to reconsider this plan with reassurance that if anything changes, a new builder would have to come in front of the board to either amend the order of conditions, which we do all the time, or they have to build what was approved on this plan. And, you know, the board seemed to be, you know, okay with that. But since they had already closed the hearing, we had to refile. The board also, at that time, since we had to refile and they seemed, you know, like they were gonna let this go, waived the filing fees to refile and only asked us to repay the advertisement fee and notify the abutters. I have a public notice for the next hearing, which was on the May 8th meeting. This is the public notice. If you'd like to see it, it specifically says, you know, construct a single-family home. At that time, the same plan on May 8th, the same plan was used. The applicant, myself, stressed the fact that this plan would need to be followed, or the applicant would have to come back to the board for an amendment. That was still the biggest issue, and Sheila actually was sitting right where I am. She stated as well that, you know, this plan has to be done because there's an online portal for the building permits, and that the commission would have to sign off on the building permit, which I'll get into that as well. So prior to closing the hearing, the board, I believe, Mr. Garland, questioned me of the dates of this plan And I went up to the board and I said, this plan is dated October 18, 22, or 18, and it's revised, whatever it is, January 4th, 2019. So the hearing was closed at the end of the night during the board discussion. That's when all the conditions were going around. Tom, you mentioned how you'd gone to a class and how, you could put special conditions on that, like this plan specifically has to be built. And when number 14 came to that section, you had said, I think we need to grant the waiver, and you had mentioned, no, he made the house smaller, which we did, but it still was within the 25 foot. So at that point, the order of conditions was voted unanimously to be approved. I had never seen anything else on it because it was sent to Mr. Johnson. He ended up selling the property May 14th of 2021. On December 1st of 2022, the order of conditions was still valid. The current applicant applied for a building permit for just the foundation. That was all approved through all the departments, and the foundation was installed, inspected. He had some issues with the septic system, which is another whole issue. Past Title V, Board of Health wants a new septic system. That had gone around and, trying to figure out what to do with that. That took so long, in the order of 2 years, that now the order is completely expired, which is why we're now back here again. So I took, and I wasn't involved in the last process of another engineer came in and had done re-perk testing and a new septic design. So that was all done. Now the applicant asked me to come back in front of the commission because I don't know if it was a building inspector or whoever, your order of conditions is expired. You can't get a building permit now for this house until you go back in front of the commission. I assumed that the waiver was granted since the order of conditions was granted and this plan was specifically attached to the order of conditions. So I then added in my latest NOI that we need a variance for the waiver, with the NOI, and we paid the filing fee as well as the waiver fee of $500.
The plan that was recorded with the order conditions was I think the initial plan dated 10/22/18, not the revised plan. I could be mistaken about that, but that's what it looks like on this, and granted, it's a small copy.
The revision is up. The revision is up on the side up here. You can see it on that as well.
Where?
It's up on the top right side, like written vertically.
Oh, okay.
And that plan of 18 actually would have been a bigger house than that.
I understand that.
So again, not trying to, I honestly didn't know that there was no waiver granted. Typically when an order of conditions is granted and it specifically says a plan or even without a plan, if that order of conditions was granted, I would assume that the waiver was granted as well.
Well, the order of conditions is available as a public record. I downloaded it from the registry of deeds this afternoon.
No, I did as well. I just, like I said, if it's granted, I would assume that the plan is approved.
Well,
And it says right on the plan that a waiver is requested, so, if that plan's approved, what else do you?
well, because there's an alternatives analysis that has to be done. And, it's not uncommon for applicants to come here and ask for waivers. And we'd say, if you want to get a waiver, you have to do the alternatives analysis. And that's set forth very specifically on the special order conditions there. And the reason why, and just to take maybe exception to what you're saying, is that in order for us to have granted the waiver from the 25-foot no-build zone, we would have actually have to have gone through the analysis. And so my belief is that unless, and as you know, when we vote on issuing orders of conditions with special conditions, we specifically go through the special conditions. Now, if you're telling me that when we had the vote on the granting the order of conditions for this property, that 14 was included in the special order of conditions, well, first of all, I don't remember that, but if it was, then perhaps it was not indicated on the special order of conditions. But my memory is that it was not. It doesn't show up on this. It's not circled on the special order of condition form. It's not mentioned in the narrative on the order of conditions, and I don't believe that it was voted on or discussed during the meeting. So if it was not included and not voted on by the commission, then it was not approved. We can have discussions, and we have discussions about all kinds of matters, but it only becomes final when there's a vote on and it's approved by the commission. So I'm telling you, if that 14 was not voted on by the commission, it's not part of the special order of conditions. I don't care what the discussion was before. If it was not included, it was not included. So I think what we need to do is we need to move on. I think you need to, I think the alternatives analysis, so since the foundation was built and since part of it is within the 25-foot no-build zone, I think the alternatives analysis needs to be done. And if you look at the special conditions, and I know you have, it's a 3-part analysis. Once I find it,
So did I submit that with the current NOI? I believe I thought I know I submitted something, but
of course I can't find it. Here we go. Okay. All right, this is what 14 says. Upon good cause shown, the applicant's request for a waiver permitting construction within the 25-foot buffer zone as defined by, in the Town of Auburn Wetlands Protection Regulations 2.06 is hereby granted as A, there are no practicable alternatives to the proposed action. B, alteration of the resource area has been minimized to the greatest extent practicable. And C, compensatory or mitigation measures are taken even at an off-site location to protect the public interest in the protected resource area to be removed, filled, dredged, built upon, or altered. So it's a 3-part analysis, and all 3 elements to obtain the waiver have to be satisfied. So my suggestion would be, we're not going to resolve it tonight. My suggestion is that since you built the foundation, since you need the waiver in order to proceed with the building permit, we need the alternatives analysis set forth in special condition 14.
I don't have a copy of the NOI, but did I submit a?
It's just a,
This is
just
just
the, letter of explanation, what is right, here's a standard.
Use that.
So I did, mention it in a tiny little paragraph, but I guess maybe I didn't get
We need
into
more.
enough.
We need more.
So in part C, where it talks about, part of the resource area that's removed, filled, dredged, built upon, or altered, is the resource area the 25-foot zone, or is it actually the wetland resource area? 'Cause we're not altering the resource area.
Mm-hmm.
So does that part not apply to this? Is that more if you're filling wetlands for like a driveway crossing? or-
I mean, in going through the special conditions, I think again, we'd be looking more at mitigation. I don't think there's any allegation that you filled in the resource area. But I think given its proximity to the shoreline of the pond, I think mitigation has to be discussed in terms of what measures you're taking to make sure that there's no encroachment.
As far as like erosion controls and things like that?
Exactly.
Okay.
And I know they've been installed down there. I was out there today. So, my suggestion would be that you provide us with an alternatives analysis and we continue this matter to April 9th. Is that agreeable?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a motion to continue the public hearing for 707 Oxford Street?
May I ask a question?
Of course.
What is have we determined, just for the record, what version of the plan was actually submitted with the notice of intent, filed with the notice of intent?
I think there was more than one plan. There was the initial plan that was rejected, and then Mr. Johnson submitted a plan showing a smaller building footprint. Is that right?
So originally, there was a 24 by 60
Mhm.
submitted. That was never voted on. The next meeting, I think because
Because we told him it wouldn't pass.
it was tight. So I talked to Mr. Johnson and said, what's the smallest footprint you think you can build, or what is the smallest footprint you want me to show? And he said, well, show 20 feet. So we cut it down 20 to 20 feet. That plan was the one that was voted on and denied, but it was the same plan as well that was resubmitted and then voted on and approved.
Okay. And this, I didn't see it in the package here, which is why I was asking.
Okay.
So
You can
is that
have this.
normally in here? Like, would that normally be
A
in?
copy of the plan was attached to the order of conditions that was recorded at the registry of deeds. And so what we'd have to do is we'd actually have to pull the file for, back from Mr. Johnson in 2019.
Which is what I have over here. That's what I have.
All right.
Yeah, no.
The reason I'm asking is because at the last meeting, I was confused what that order of conditions was actually approving. And what was said back to me was that the order of conditions applied to existing conditions so that the land could be sold, no structures. So I was thinking that there was a plan of just like a lot with no structures on it, is what I thought it was we were talking about. But, and I know we're kind of past that now, we're moving forward with, I just wanted to understand so that for future.
Understood.
But yeah, I mean, I can confirm what's on the registry.
I mean, I think, and Mr. Dubois, you can correct me if I'm mistaken, but I think Mr. Johnson made it pretty clear he was not gonna,
Correct.
he wanted to sell it and to someone else.
Absolutely. He never had any intentions on building this. He wanted to get an order of conditions with a buildable footprint so that he could hand it over to another person and they wouldn't have to, go through all the permitting. It's just an easier property to sell when you have an order of conditions to go with the property. And that stays with the deed, no matter how many times it gets sold. As long as that person is aware and they build what's on the approved plan. If they make any changes, they have to either amend the conditions if it's a substantial change,
And you're representing that the foundation that was constructed there complies with that plan exactly.
I mean, we didn't go out and resurvey it, but it had been resurveyed by another engineer. I have the plan here. And it's, this blue line is the wetland line. This is the zoning setback line. That's the building right up against the front, zoning setback line.
Right.
And that's where we had it as well. So I mean, I don't want to say it's within an inch, it's probably within a foot. It's right there.
But, in this case, a foot can make a big difference, actually. Can we keep this, or do you have any extras for us?
Yeah, you can have it.
All right, thank you. All right, so I think we have some homework to do. And again, my suggestion is we continue this to April 9th, if that's agreeable to you.
Sure.
All right, then. Can I have a motion to continue, please?
I make a motion, we continue the public hearing for 707 Oxford Street to, sorry, what's our next?
April 9th.
April 9th.
At 7:10?
7:10.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it's a vote. All right, thank you for coming in.
Okay.
And
So that was the meeting, May 8th, 2019.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make, that'll be the first thing I do tomorrow, Jason, I'll watch it.
There's a lot of them, so.
Yeah, okay. No, I know.
It was 5,
Okay.
but that was the final.
That was the final one, yep.
Yep. All right, have a good night.
you too, thank you. Okay. I think Tom emailed everyone, but Insight Engineering requested a continuance of the hearing on their notice of intent for 47 and 49 Rockland Road to respond to comments made by the town engineer regarding the plan. So, again, are they continued to April 9th?
They continue to April 9th, yes.
Do you want? I'll ask for a motion anyway. Is there a motion to continue 47 and 49 Rockland Road to April 9th?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, it's a vote. All right, we have a couple of other things. Should we do the meeting minutes for last meeting?
Through the chair,
Yes.
I just want to make sure, did everybody get a copy of the latest major land use disturbance permit submission review that I sent to everybody? I believe it was in your packets.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the 47.
Right, which is continued, but I just want to make sure everybody has it. Okay.
You know, it would be helpful if she dated these.
Yeah, that's, you have to actually read into it. She never puts a date on the top for some reason, but
Well, she should.
you're right. I agree.
Anyway, okay,
Makes it easier.
just a little bit. Okay. Let's see, meeting minutes.
I have no notes.
Yeah, I don't have any changes either. Michelle, any changes to the meeting minutes?
Nope. So, me.
Okay. If there are none, is there a motion to accept the meeting minutes for March 12, 2025?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Okay. And then apparently National Grid's going to paint some towers.
They didn't provide very much information.
Did they say what color they're going to paint the towers?
They did not. I said to go for like that blue lagoon color there.
I don't know.
Probably not. Probably gonna be,
Maybe something brighter? I don't know. Fluorescent? All right. Is there any new business?
one other question through the chair.
Sure.
I did receive this. I don't know if I put those in the packets as well. These were comments from one of the abutters.
I saw that.
Even though we're not going to be discussing this, I just wanted to see that everybody got a copy of it.
Very good.
Is that 16 Perry?
16, no, this is 47 and 49 Rockland.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I looked at the wrong thing.
Yep.
Which he gave me on the 20th, which would have been Thursday.
Actually, the letter, I think you're referring to, Megan.
Oh, okay, you got, yeah.
That Tom sent to
Yeah.
the ZBA regarding the order conditions we'd issued for Perry Place.
Right. And through the chair at the last meeting, at the ZBA meeting, I brought this up and read it aloud. They denied the waiver through ZBA as far as for the comprehensive permit, with knowing that they're gonna be here anyways.
Right.
And if you really wanna see something interesting, they actually went through about 4 different votes to get to that point, because 2 were yes, 2 were no, then 2 were no, 2 were, it was weird.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, it got denied, so they'll be.
Well, it's a brand new project, you know, so
Sure.
they shouldn't be able to use the order conditions that we issued for the smaller application. All right, if there is no new business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Yeah, I figured you'd say it. Is there a second?
A second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
It's a vote. All right, everyone, thank you very much. We'll see you on April 9th. I think we should try to get out to 319 Washington Street. We have a couple weeks to do it. So if you do that, that would be appreciated. And we are done. Thank you, everyone.